How you all doing today? So glad to be back. Today's title is Why Black People Won't Swim. And I came to a revelation as to why Black people won't swim. And it may shock some of you all to the revelation I came up with. I'm just getting my stuff situated on Instagram. I'm just letting folks know I'm on YouTube. Just give me 1 second. What's up, Lady T? Angel? Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I got it. I'm glad you called me, Lady T. What's up, Mika? What's up, Idris? What's up, Kaya? So today's title is Why Black People Won't Swim. What's up, Nomo? What's up, Angel? Kenya? KNB Not of the World? What's up, Shelly? So I see Ethiopian Black in there. What's up, Chaz? What's up, Sartorial Tobacconist? Listen, man, Sartorial Tobacconist, if y'all ever want to see something fly, just go to his page and watch him. Let me pin it. Man, just go to his page and watch him roll a cigar. I'm talking about it's going to be therapeutic. It's going to make you think. He just rolling a cigar, and I promise you're going to be thinking about a lot of stuff. He had did a video where he had I think the drone camera was on him rolling the tobacco, and then the cigar, and it zoomed all the way out. But anyway, just check him out. I got him pinned on here in Instagram, but I mean, it's just awesome to me, man. To me, it's an experience, you know. Some of y'all got to get more culture, you know. Anyway, he's pinned on my Instagram page. It is Sartorial_tobacconist. Anyway, today's title is Why Black People Won't Swim. And the reason why Black people won't swim is because the water is unbiased. I'm going to say it again. The reason why Black people don't like to swim is because the water is unbiased. Meaning that the water doesn't care about melanin. The water doesn't care about Black girl magic. The water doesn't care about the ancestors. The water doesn't care about pyramids. The water doesn't care about any of that. And Black people know deep down inside, if I get into this water, I'm on my own. This is why Black people don't like the water, because the water isn't a controlled environment. When I say the water, I don't mean a kiddie pool. I mean the water. I mean the ocean, the rivers, the lake. I mean the water. And most Black people won't even get into the pool, let alone the natural bodies of water. You know what I mean? But this is why Black people are afraid, because the water is unbiased. And the water really represents the opposite of how Black people live. Black people live in a very much controlled environment where the information they receive is controlled, how they behave is controlled, where they live. Everything about the Black experience is controlled. But that water is uncontrollable. At any moment, The waves might come. You might get sucked in a current. It might be something swimming there to snatch you down. All kind of animals in the water. So again, this is why the water is unbiased. And so black people are on their own in the water. It's finally a situation where none of this stuff matters. And you see the reaction, most black folks won't even get in it. Let's start off with and the irony of you all claiming to have come across some middle passage. Let me get my WhatsApp. Let me get my WhatsApp. What's up, MKOK? What's up, Anna Valisa? What's up, Jamar? What's up, Mr. Demir? What's up, Patricia? What's up, Prudence? Lady T is over here. Broski Bear, what's up? Okay. So I'm gonna play some videos that discuss what I'm talking about. I'm wearing a shirt. This shirt says, I still remember. You know, I paid tribute to the Hoteps today. I still remember. Get it? It's some foolishness, I know. But anyway, what do you remember? Because you didn't be, forget it. Forget it. Let's get into these videos. Little Hotep joke for today. Now, I'm gonna play the Jill Scott version of the national anthem. Tell me what you all think. Hey, can you see by the blood in the streets that this place doesn't smile? What I don't understand is, why is it when it comes to black people, they're not impressed, they're not oppressed when it comes to food? Why isn't Jill Scott singing this song, malnourished and hungry and tired? Why is she singing this song, big as a bread box? Just help me out. Why does oppression with black people skip to different areas? Why don't it just why isn't it all the areas to be oppressed in? Why is it when it comes to food, black folks manage to eat whatever they want to eat? Let's continue. On you, colored child, whose blood built this land. Jill Scott. First of all, let me say this. Y'all do realize that you do realize that the amount of slaves in this country could not have built America. Y'all do realize that. Y'all do realize that everybody built America. This notion that only black folks built America is a lie. I don't know why it doesn't even make economic sense. You can't build a country with that many people. It doesn't even make 350,000 slaves supposedly came to America. That's not enough to build a country. Y'all, it's common sense. Do you know how many white indentured servants / slaves came over here? 80% of the white folks that came over here was indentured servants and slaves. They built too. Do y'all realize that white folks pick cotton too? Y'all realize that? It's called an industry. Picking cotton wasn't just for black people. It's an industry. It's no different than textiles, welding, mason work, building, plumbing. All that. It's an industry. And y'all believe that only black folks pick cotton. You're crazy. Only 5% of white people own slaves. What does that tell you? 5%. Most people were poor. If you go out into the world today, most of the world is impoverished. This notion that white people are all rich and have always been rich is a lie. I'm gonna start this song over because Jill Scott's face is looking like she's having hunger pains. This ain't slavery. This is hunger pains, not slavery pains. Can y'all imagine Jill Scott in the concentration camp? And she had to work. Let's continue.
Can you see by the blood in the streets that this place doesn't smile on you, colored child, whose blood built this land?
If y'all threw a tomato at Jill Scott, she would eat it. Don't waste tomato. Do not throw a tomato at Jill Scott. She gonna eat it.
With sweat and bare hands, but you'll die in this place, and your memory erased. Oh, say, does this truth hold any weight?
The last time Jill Scott went viral, she was giving oral sex to a microphone. Now she's back to tell us that we are oppressed. The last time Jill Scott went viral, she was giving oral sex to a microphone. Now she's came back to tell us that we're oppressed. My question is, can a person be oppressed and still have fake teeth? Can a person be oppressed and still have veneers? Can you be oppressed and still keep up with your... Listen, when you go to other countries, people are poor. They don't care about how they look. They don't care. How is it that the oppressed black folks in America manage to look the best and the flyest? Jill Scott got veneers and she's 350 pounds, but she's saying she oppressed. So she's not oppressed with her looks or her diet. And she ain't oppressed with her money because she's rich. So where is she oppressed? Let's continue.
Oh, say, does this truth hold any weight?
Does the truth hold any weight? No, Jill Scott. How much do you weigh? No. Does it hold any weight? The truth can't hold you, Jill Scott. Let's continue.
This is not the land of the free.
And she missing one of them two teeth in the back. She missing teeth. Listen, man, I'm critical. If you're going to get up here and spew some propaganda, I'm about to critique everything about you. Jill Scott is missing them side teeth. Somehow she missing teeth, but she ain't stopped eating. Let me just back up just a little bit. Let's go. This was at Essence Festival. Everybody in the audience clapping about being oppressed, and about 99% of them got that shot. 99% of the folks at Essence talk about being oppressed and literally signed up for slavery. Just a year ago. I'm going to stick my arm out and do what these people tell me to do. All them folks in the audience jabbed up spike proteins, mixing and multiplying, alien babies being hatched, 5G going off the fritz, boost mobile satellite connections. All them folks at Essence got all this stuff going on, and they hollering about oppression. Jill Scott leaned back. She gonna blame her thyroids. It's not her thyroids. She likes to eat. But if you are really oppressed, your diet is gonna be very simple. So that was Jill Scott's new national anthem. Just a bunch of propaganda trash. But again, it's easy to entertain Black people. All you have to do is just appeal to the lowest vibrational thing you can imagine. Say they're oppressed. Say they were a slave. I mean, it's not hard. Say white folks are racist. It's easy. Why Black people are afraid of swimming. Understanding generational trauma. Black people are afraid of the water because the water doesn't care about a person being Black. White folks love the water. You see, if we really get honest, white people have a certain spirit. The number one cause of death for white men ages 0 to 44 is an accident. White people see this earth and they try to conquer it. The number one cause of Black men ages 0 through 44 is homicide. That means more than likely a white guy is going to die being adventurous, and more than likely a Black guy is going to die in his own neighborhood getting shot by somebody he'd known for years. Again, Black people are afraid of the water because the water doesn't care about them being Black. I'm going to play this video. I played it last night on IG, but I'm going to play it on YouTube.
Grab the wood.
Grab wood.
Grab it.
Shit.
I think you better get in there.
Oh shit.
I think you better get in there, dude.
Come on.
Oh my God. What the fuck? He gonna die. Here, bro.
He's drinking that water.
Oh my God.
He's going now.
He gonna try.
Now, at this part of the video, the Black guy's in the water drowning. The Black folks had their phone out, but the white man jumps in the water. I'm going to tell you like this. If you are ever in danger and some white folks around you, they're going to help. That's in their nature. If you are ever in danger and some white folks are around, they are going to help. That is in their nature. I'm just telling you. If you don't believe me, go be somewhere you have no business being, be struggling somewhere, and watch somebody white come to the rescue. In this video right here, all these Black folks are afraid of the water. Their worst fear is the water because the water doesn't care about them being Black. So they're watching this man drown, but they are terrified to get in the water. So they're telling him to grab this and grab that. But I guarantee they were the same people that ribbed him up to get in the water in the first place. They were the same people telling him to get in the, you can't swim. Man, I swam in high school. Man, you can't swim. Watch. They got him in that water. I guarantee it. But at this point of the video, as they watching and telling him to grab something, the white guy jumps in. Now, the white guy jumps in. He took his shirt off, took his shoes off. Should have them jeans off. Them jeans going to be too heavy. But he prepared himself to get in that water and save this black man. The same white guy that black folks would call racist is risking his life to save somebody who doesn't even deserve it. Because why would you be in this water and you can't swim? Oh, I know, to prove a point. Pride.
Try to kill you.
Don't pull him down. Don't pull him down.
He gonna kill you.
Don't pull
He
him
gonna kill them
down.
both.
Don't pull him down.
Soon as the white man gets in the water, he grabs him. He tries to pull him under. Now, a drowning man is going to grab anything to stay alive. So I understand that survival instinct kicking in. Now, the white guy is trying to get to the wood to grab something to pull the man closer. But as we're going to see, that's not going to work because this guy is going to keep fighting, kicking, instead of just relaxing. But again, he's terrified of the water. When I learned how to swim, they just threw me in the water. When I was a little child, y'all know how black folks do. Want to throw you in the water because you're afraid of it. You know, you getting there tensed up. They just sling you on in there. Y'all know how it is. They threw me in the water. But I made it. And then when I was at summer camp, I remember all the white kids was jumping off diving boards into the 12, we used to call it the deep feet, into 12 feet, jumping off the dive, just having a good time. Black kids sitting there like this, holding on to the side, kicking their legs. One day, I jumped in the water. I went a little bit away from the edge, then I went back. The next day, I jumped in the water. Went a little bit further, then I went back. The next day, jumped in the water again. Went a little bit further, then I went back. Before I realized it, I was in the middle of the pool. And I swam back. Then I got to the point where I could swim all the way across the pool. Then I got to the point where I could swim all the way across and swim back. Now, the scary part about the water is being submerged. Being submerged underwater is the scary part. Because you're underwater and you see how much water it is. And most folks, when they go under, that's when they start to panic because your feet can't touch nothing. But when I was under the water, you know what I saw? I saw all the children under the water playing, swimming. Then I remember one time, dude, one of my campmates said, "Come touch the bottom with me." Now, it might sound bad now in these times, but pause. But come touch the bottom was jump in the pool and touch the bottom of the pool. So I'm scared, so I jump in, but you can't go down because you don't know how to, decompress yourself to go down to the bottom. Anyway, one day I went down there and my feet touched the bottom, but it scared me, so I went back up quick. Then after that, I remember somebody said, "See, you can get this quarter." Now, listen, these white people's games. They throw a quarter in the pool, 12 feet, and who can go out to the bottom and get it? A quarter. Ain't no scuba gear. We children. Listen, we talking about second grade, third grade. No scuba gear, no swimming legs. We just flip the quarter in the water. Who can go get it? My point is, I believe that my fear, overcoming the fear of the water, kind of planted the seeds of what would later become faith. And the reason why most black folks are afraid of the water is because they never get in. And when I say get in the water, I mean they never challenge themselves in the water. If you work with the water's going to work with you. That's how the water is. If you work with the water will work with you. You can float on top. You can make yourself submerge. You can latch onto a current. If you work with the water's going to work with you. The water is a lot like God. The water is no respecter of person, but the water is a benefit to everybody. The water is powerful. The water can give life. The water can destroy. So maybe black folks being afraid of the water is an indication of black folks not having a relationship with God. Let's continue.
Just hold on.
Don't let him get out there, because that current gonna take his ass.
Nobody got a fucking stick or something?
He's gonna die in there.
Oh, they both. Come on. Hurry up. Hurry up. Grab the stick.
Yo, come on.
Grab the stick.
Yo, make sure don't fall in the water, bro.
Yeah, I got you.
Now they saying grab. Now listen at this now. They're saying grab the stick. They ain't even got enough. They could have lowered somebody down by their ankles to grab a hold to them. They talking about grab the stick. This man is dying, and they're talking about grab. And this white guy's, I think this is his wife right here in this picture. Now imagine your husband jump in the water to save somebody, black. He dies. Then a few years later on the news, they calling you racist. Just imagine your husband loses his life trying to save somebody black who can't swim in the water. And a few years later, the TV telling you that you're racist. And those same black folks calling you Karen. It's a cold game.
Come on.
I ain't getting in that fucking water, man. I ain't driving them. Both of them motherfuckers gonna drown.
So you hear the person talking, and again, this is about a fear of the water. But the fear of water is a lack of faith. So in the Bible, Yeshua said, Peter, come to me. And Peter walked on water. But when Peter realized he was walking on water, he sank. When Peter realized that he was walking on water, he sank. These are stories of faith.
I'm not going in there. Oh my God. Somebody.
So it ends with them both being submerged. And we don't know what happened. Hopefully, but again, this is metaphoric to why black folks don't want to swim. Because again, the water is unbiased. The water doesn't care about black people being black. So the water is enjoyment for other people. It's life for other people, relaxation for other people, a means to make money for other people. But for black people, the water is terrifying. And you can pretty much blame people like Jill Scott. You can pretty much blame folks that sit there and listen to people like Jill Scott telling you that you're oppressed, but she's rich. Telling you that she's oppressed, but she's managed to be overweight. Somebody said on Instagram, the black people in China aren't overweight. Of course they aren't. It's not, they don't have enough food to be overweight. Let's continue. And I'm going to play you this lady saying this poem. And I want to ask you, does this poem she's saying apply to everything in her life or just things she's comfortable with?
Do if you knew you couldn't fail? How big would you play if you knew that you can survive any heartbreak, any breakdown, any betrayal? What would you do if the things that you were afraid of you knew were absolutely nothing? They were all opportunities for you to get stronger in your faith, stronger in your resiliency. What would you do? Who would you love? How big would you play? Where would you leap? How would the world benefit differently because who you've decided to be? How would the world be a better place to live because fear didn't have you standing on the edge? What would you do if you were told that you get to do it afraid, that you don't have to wait for the fear to leave, that when you get in action, the fear has to dissipate into the nothingness that it always was? Oh, I didn't come to keep you comfortable. I came for your breakthrough.
Now, as she's saying this poem, does this poem extend to how she feels about race and racism and oppression and white privilege and white supremacy? Is this beautiful excerpt she just said, does it apply to every part of her life or just the parts where she's comfortable? What black folks do is they compartmentalize these things. And they say, I can be fearless in this area, but in this area, I'm controlled. I can move a mountain in this area, but in this area, I'm oppressed. Replay it again.
What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? How big would you play if you knew that you can survive any heartbreak, any breakdown, any betrayal? What would you do if the things that you were afraid of you knew were absolutely nothing? They were all opportunities for you to get stronger in your faith, stronger in your resiliency. What would you do? Who would you love? How big would you play? Where would you leap? How would the world benefit differently because who you've decided to be? How would the world be a better place to live because fear didn't have you standing on the edge? What would you do if you were told that you get to do it afraid, that you don't have to wait for the fear to leave, that when you get in action, the fear has to dissipate into the nothingness that it always was? Oh, I didn't come to keep you comfortable. I came for your breakthrough.
Now, would she be open to that same last line? I didn't come to make you comfortable. I came for your breakthrough. I don't want to misquote her. She said a lot better than that. Let me see.
Oh, I didn't come to keep you comfortable. I came for your breakthrough.
I didn't come to keep you comfortable. I came for your breakthrough. Is she willing to take that same advice when it comes to everything she knows about history, about race, about oppression, about white privilege and white suit? Is she willing to sit back and take her own advice? I doubt it. I guarantee when she's speaking right now, she's not talking about every area of her life. She's talking about the parts that she's comfortable with. She's not talking about looking in the mirror and facing her demons. She's talking about the areas that she is comfortable with. Let's continue.
You ain't never seen a black caveman. Period. I don't give a what history book you want to look into. I don't give a what research you want to do. We come from civilization, right?
Yeah.
We are the makers, the owners, the creams of the planet, the father of civilization and gods of the universe. And there ain't no argument about that. So when you do the research and you find out we ain't never lived in no cave, but the only history that is our origin is we come from the richest parts of the planet. It's like when a nigga go and look for a house to buy, right? You go and look at 10 cribs, 20 cribs until you find the best crib, not only for your comfort, but for your budget. Our nature didn't coincide with budget. Our nature coincides with being the fathers and the gods of this planet that exists. There is no before that history. That's from the inception of our being. So I'm wearing the that our ancestors taught us that we need to be buried in the tombs with. And that I'm going to pass down like our ancestors passed down the rich, wealthy sciences, jewels, mathematics, all of that abundance of flash. They passed it down to us. I'm going to pass that down to my seeds. And while
How delusional do you have to be to, on one hand, say that everything started with you, and then on the other hand, say that you're oppressed? Like, how are we reconciling with that? How are we reconciling with you being the everything, the gods of this planet, but yet you are still oppressed? Why doesn't anybody in these interviews ever say, but then how are y'all oppressed? Why doesn't anybody ever say that? That's never, nobody has ever said, well, then how are y'all oppressed? How y'all crying about police brutality if you the gods of the planet?
you ain't never seen a black caveman.
Newsflash, Busta Rhymes. You ain't ever seen a black cave. You ain't ever seen a caveman either. You've only seen renditions of cavemans. You have never seen a caveman. You've only seen the version of a caveman that they told you existed. You have never seen a caveman. You've only seen an artwork of a caveman, illustration, sculpture. You have never seen a caveman. So the irony of using white people's information to justify your point. And I thought you were the gods. It'd have been different if he said, I went back in time and I didn't see any black cave people. That's not what he said. He said, I never seen one, meaning the white people haven't shown me a black one. The white people haven't shown me a black one.
Period. I don't give a what history book you want to look into. I don't give a what research you want to do. We come from civilization, right?
Yeah.
We are the makers, the owners, the creams of the planet, the father of civilization and gods of the universe. And there ain't no argument about that.
So if black people are the gods of the universe, excuse me, I said planet, of the universe, then why are black people struggling? Why is Jill Scott making songs to a new national anthem? Why is she doing that if she's the god of the universe? This doesn't make any sense to me. We have to reconcile this. We have to. We got to reconcile black folks talking like this all the time, but the fruits aren't being bared. A bad tree cannot produce good fruit. So if black people are getting bad fruits constantly, then what is the common denominator? The tree is not good. How are black people gods of the universe and still crying and complaining about white people? And there was one more video I wanted that would illustrate this point so beautifully. But I don't think I have it. But black people are the gods of the universe. But yeah, if you pull up any statistic, black people die the most from disease, from diet, from you look it up, black people die from everything. So my question is, how could a group of people who are claiming to be God be on earth complaining about cavemen and cave women? We have to reconcile this today. Black people are saying they're gods of the universe, but can't even hop in a pool. I just said that in the chat earlier. I said black people always putting somebody up on game, but can't get a head coaching job. Make it make sense. Black people are always putting somebody up on some game, but can't get a head coaching job. Just make it make sense. If you are gods of the universe, then being on earth should be a cakewalk. There should be no such thing as the black struggle. If black people are the gods of the universe, then being on earth should be a cakewalk. There should be no such thing as the black struggle. There should have never even been slavery. No atrocity should have happened to black people any time in history. But yet we have the whole world experiencing slavery, and only one group of people can't get over it. The whole world has experienced slavery a lot longer than black people and a lot more intense. But yet black folks can't get over it. There is slavery going on today. There are more slaves today than there ever were in the US, ever. But black folks can't get over something they never even experienced.
So when you do the research and you find out we ain't never lived in no cave, but the only history that is our origin is we come from the richest parts of the planet. It's like when a nigga go and look for a house to buy, right? You go and look at 10 cribs, 20 cribs until you find the best crib, not only for your comfort, but for your budget. Our nature didn't coincide with budget. Our nature coincides with being the fathers and the gods of this planet that exists. There is no before that history. That's from the inception of our being. So I'm wearing the that our ancestors taught us that we need to be buried in the tombs with.
If your ancestors were gods, then how'd they end up in a tomb? If your ancestors were gods, then how did they end up in a tomb? If you are a god, why are we talking about burials and death? Let's continue.
And that I'm going to pass down like our ancestors passed down the rich, wealthy sciences, jewels, mathematics, all of that abundance of flash. They passed it down to us. I'm going to pass that down to my seeds. And while
And the funny thing about this is, and I wish I had saved that video of that young lady talking. Hope I can find this video. If y'all know what video I'm talking about, it was a video where it's a black girl magic next to Ivory magic, and the black girl's going off about white folks on social media, and the white girl's just laughing at her. If y'all can find that video, please, if you could email me, put my email in here. If you could email me that video, if y'all remember the video, but it's a video of the girl in there, she's talking. I think that's my, yeah. I put my email in the chat, but if y'all find that video, let me know. But you heard Busta Rhymes just basically saying that black people are gods of the earth and, you know, rulers over everything. And so again, my question is, if what Busta Rhymes is saying is true, then why are black people crying and complaining? You cannot have both narratives. I'm sorry, you can't do it. So either you tell me that you're not a god and that you are oppressed by the primitive white people, or you tell me that you are a god and you're doing this for some kind of lesson, some kind of virtue signal where you're allowing yourself to suffer at the hands of white supremacy. Oh yeah, my bad, y'all. It's Gmail. I'm sorry. My bad. My fault. My fault, y'all. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm so used to doing the, you know. My bad. My bad. I got some super stickers here. I got Sneakerhead earlier. Thank you so much for the super sticker. It's way back here. Thank you so much, Sneakerhead. Got some more videos. But again, what Busta Rhymes is doing is he's preparing you for the mark of the beast. I don't know if you realize it or not, but they're going to entice you with being like a god. The enticing part, they're going to say you can be like a god if you do this, if you take this, if you put this in your body. So what these folks are doing is priming you up for that. So they're telling you, they're going to tell you that you were originally a god, but white people stripped it from you. Now you got to get it back. And it's easy to do because you think about it. When it comes to the technology, all black folks are going to say is we invented, they stole it. Same with this snake bite. They said that black folks invented the snake bite. And so again, it's not hard to do. Once you worship skin, you finished. Once you make it about black and all this stuff, you're done. Anything will go. And Satan knows that. Let's continue.
In the
Hold on. Somebody even said, somebody said Black Panther's even dead in the Cold Talk said Black Panther. Now y'all know Thor in the Marvel universe, he's a god. Thor is a god. He can't die. Black they bring Black Panther on the scene and he's gone already. The Black Panther lasted 2 battles and he already gone. And the irony, the Black Panther really died in real life of health complications. You can't make this stuff up. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Black folks made his death about something deep too. Black folks made his death about something deep. Thank you again, Sneakerhead, for the super sticker. Thank you, Jahan. Jahan says, what up? Where do I go to sign up for the Boaz application? Oh, yeah, I got y'all. I'm working with Anita on that. She has the intake forms already ready to go. What I'm doing now is I'm getting an Instagram page. It's not attached to my anything with me because all my stuff is already flagged and compromised. So I'm gonna get a whole new IG account, and we're gonna get this Boaz thing underway. And hopefully the goal is to pair the men with the women. The class is really focused on the women, but men can attend. I'm gonna have husbands in there speaking. So yeah. But thank you, Jahan, for bringing that up. That'll be coming soon. Another video. Cole talks that I'd rather come from caves than to take on a history of weak, oppressed slaves who claim to be kings and queens with no evidence. I can't argue that. But again, if we go back to this narrative, and this narrative is that Black people are gods. And if Black people are gods, then why are they struggling so much on earth? You can't make that make sense to me. You just heard Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes said that Black people was here's the beginning of the universe. There was gods of the universe, all this stuff, but you complaining about white people. You can't have it both ways. Either you're a god or you're not, period. So there should be no struggling on this earth for any Black person claiming they're a god. I'm sorry. If you are a god, there should be no struggling on this earth. And if your ancestors were gods, then they shouldn't be deceased. If your ancestors were gods, they should not be deceased. Let's continue.
That they don't see in the Bible that it explicitly states that Jesus was a Mason. That's because that order wasn't referred to as Masonry in that book at that time. The Masons are referred to as the Essenes, who were led by a being called the teacher or the messenger of righteousness, and that translates from Hebrew as Malaika Sadiq, which becomes Melchizedek. In the biblical scriptures, you will find that Jesus was raised up in that same order. That's Hebrews 7:17. For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And this being who is called Jesus also took an oath to be a part of that order. Hebrews 7:20. And insomuch as not without an oath he was made priest. There were sacred brotherhoods active in that time, both BC and AD. And stories like the story of Lazarus were alluding to those brotherhoods. Jesus initiated Lazarus into the order. In other words, Lazarus was pulled out of death by Jesus. This was a Masonic ritual. This was not a literal story. People are constantly being raised from the dead and initiated into the order of the truth, the life, and the way, the head, the heart, and the hara, the faith, the hope, and the charity. 1, 2, 3. As in the 3 levels from the lower room to the upper room. Tear down my body, and in 3 days I will rise it again. This is referring to the 3 degrees of Masonry. John 3:3. You must be born again. Why do you think it was placed in John 3:3? Jesus was of the mystic orders and the mystery schools and was raised from the death.
What you'll notice is that anything that is righteous, Black people will put their stamp on it to make it unrighteous. What I mean is, if Jesus is a Mason, then I don't have to be accountable. Everything you hear these people talk about leads to no accountability. That's all it is. So I can be like Jesus if I'm a Mason. Better yet, I can be like Jesus if I'm Black. This is why Umar Johnson said that he was Black like Christ. He's a prophet like Christ and Muhammad. When Black people make stuff Black, They're not paying homage to it. They're making it black to not be held accountable to it. So when this guy is talking, everybody knows that the Masons are evil and wicked. And all a Mason is just a builder. So the whole Masonic order came from God being the master builder, because God created everything. This ain't rocket science. This ain't deep. They created something based on what God did, i.e., black folks back then trying to play God. We'll play it again.
That they don't see in the Bible that it explicitly states that Jesus was a Mason. That's because that order wasn't referred to as Masonry in that book at that time. The Masons are referred to as the Essenes, who were led by a being called the teacher or the messenger of righteousness.
Again, if you look up a definition of a Mason, you're going to look up the word Mason, and we're going to see the definition of it. Just to make it easy. A Mason is a builder and worker in stone. That's what a Mason is. He's a builder. You go back to the pyramids, those that build the pyramids, the inner temples and all that, they're builders. This ain't rocket science. But they base everything on God being the master builder. So wouldn't it be fitting for Satan to get people to believe that they could be like a builder like God by joining some kind of order, by following certain steps? This man said 3 degrees of masonry, and there's really 33 1/3 degrees of masonry. But again, he knows that black folks don't read. The Masons were not wise men. They were actually the builders. This man just made stuff up, but it sounds good because he's paying homage to black people. So imagine how many black folks will be deceived by the mark of the beast, because folks like this will convince you that the mark of the beast was really created by someone black and they stole it. They already had that narrative out there. They say everything we created, they stole. They're going to say the same thing with the mark of the beast, because the enemy needs for black people to get that mark of the beast to make it look good for the world. Thank you again, Jahan, for the super sticker. Thank you so much.
And that translates from Hebrew as Malaika Sadiq, which becomes Melchizedek. In the biblical scriptures, you will find that Jesus was raised up in that same order. That's Hebrews 7:17. For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And this being who is called Jesus also took an oath to be a part of that order. Hebrews 7:20. And insomuch as not without an oath, he was made priest. There were sacred brotherhoods active in that time, both BC and AD. And stories like the story of Lazarus were alluding to those brotherhoods. Jesus initiated Lazarus into the order. In other words, Lazarus was pulled out of death by Jesus. This was a Masonic ritual. This was not a literal story. People are constantly being raised from the dead and initiated into the order of the truth, the life, and the way, the head, the heart, and the hara, the faith, the hope, and the charity. 1, 2, 3. As in the 3 levels from the lower room to the upper room. Tear down my body, and in 3 days I will rise it again. This is referring to the 3 degrees of Masonry. John 3:3. You must be born again. Why do you think it was placed in John 3:3? Jesus was of the mystic orders and the mystery schools and was raised from the dead.
Well, let me say this about the pyramids. I don't believe, based on what I see today, that those pyramids were built strictly by men. I believe that they were built by the fallen angels. And so what black folks taking credit for, I don't believe it. I believe that fallen angels built those structures, because today I don't see them building anything. And the only difference is back then there was fallen angels and now they somewhere else. I went to Hebrews chapter 7. I just wanted to look up this scripture. And he said 7 and 17. Let me write this down real quick. For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. For this is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto God. And insomuch as not without an oath, he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath by him that said unto him, the Lord swear and will not repent, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. By so much Jesus was made surety of a better testament. And they truly were many priests, because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continueth ever, hath an unchangeable priesthood. So, in other words, none of the other priests, as you see in the scripture, were made with an oath. So, even based on what he's telling you, there was only one priest made with an oath. This is what the Bible says. So that means that Christ could not have been a part of that order. Even if we want to say this is true, he was the only one that had an oath. So he's not the same as everybody else. So even in what he said, it's still not true. But again, this is what black folks do. And they make everything black. They don't make it black to raise their standard of living. They make it black to not do anything, because they're resting on skin and culture and all this stuff, etc. But we've seen in the past few months that black folks taking credit for now Masonry, Anunnaki, Nephilim, we can say fallen angels, all kind of. So you see this movement for black folks to start getting involved in all this stuff, because the mark of the beast is coming, and the mark of the beast. So they got to justify folks taking it. I'm just telling y'all, they got to justify it. This is what all this is building up to, is the mark of the beast. Let's continue. So we got people that are gods of the earth, but they're afraid to get in the water. Let's continue.
Freedom, what we think of as self-liberation. Freedom is the unconditional acceptance of the experience of yourself as you are in the moment. That's what freedom is. The unconditional acceptance of yourself as you are in the moment. How far away are you from that? The whole reason that your mind rolls on and talks, and endless dialogue and distraction, is because something in you is always trying to escape the experience of yourself in the moment. Talking to yourself about yourself is trying to escape the experience of yourself. All talk, self-talk, is a way in which this consciousness, this sleeping consciousness, just never stops trying to reconcile the conflict inherent in itself.
Now, this guy right here is another New Age thinker. He said true freedom is you unconditionally experiencing the moment. So that means if they put you in a concentration camp, if you experience the moment, you're really free. All of these doctrines, you notice, don't really require the person to put anything on the line. I don't trust a man that's not willing to put something on the line. Experience in the moment is what? Is nothing. What is experience in the moment? You being plugged up to the matrix? Like what is experience in the moment? But these guys get on here and talk, and it sounds good, but it's really a satanic message, because the whole goal behind this stuff is to get you to accept what Satan has. They're finding all kind of ways to get you to just say, you know what, I give up. I'm gonna just live in the moment unconditionally. What does that even mean? That means don't fight. That means don't resist. That means don't make waves. That means take the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance doesn't build any character. The path of least resistance doesn't build character. Just like in the Bible, it says that for the law made nothing perfect. So again, people are holding on to things because the real fight is in here first, then it's going to be out there. Because faith without works is dead. So whatever you build up in here is going to have to manifest out there. That's what everybody's avoiding. Listen to
freedom, what we think of as self-liberation. Freedom is the unconditional acceptance of the experience of yourself as you are in the moment. That's what freedom is. The unconditional acceptance of yourself as you are in the moment.
And this sounds good. And I listen to folks on all these shows. One day, me and my boy was just listening to all these pastors on YouTube talking about the mark of the beast. And every pastor had the same stance. And that stance was they didn't take one. None of them pastors said definitively, I will never get the mark of the beast. And you shouldn't either. Make an even bolder statement. You will not get the mark of the beast. All them pastors sounded like him. One pastor even said, oh, that can't be the mark of the beast. Oh, no, we can't. Like, I hope it's not. Like, listen. Because what it boils down to is you got to be willing to put something on the line. The Bible says that he who tries to save his life will surely lose it. And a bunch of folks are going to perish because they want to save their life. You don't have a life if you don't have God. So if these people tell you that you can't serve God, you don't have a life. What are you holding on to? I'll tell you, the world. So any man that tells me that freedom rests in him unconditionally experiencing a moment, I know he's working for Satan. He gonna get the mark of the beast. He done got the snake bite. He gonna do it all. Because the moment is what matters, not what God said. Thank you so much, McCoy, for the super sticker.
How far away are you from that? The whole reason that your mind rolls on and talks and endless dialogue and distraction is because something in you is always trying to escape the experience of yourself in the moment. Talking to yourself about yourself is trying to escape the experience of yourself. All talk, self-talk, is a way in which this consciousness, this sleeping consciousness, just never stops trying to reconcile the conflict inherent in itself.
All I hear from him is I'm a coward and I'm terrified. And if these folks knock on my front door, they can have whatever they want, including my soul. Yeah, I've heard of Billy Carson. Same way. I don't hear any conviction in Billy Carson's voice. I don't. He working with Satan. Billy Carson is working with Satan. I heard him talk about the Bible one day with somebody on YouTube, and he said that the Bible is repressive to women. The Bible is bad. Now, out of everything to pick on the Bible, why would you take that stance, repressive to women? I'll tell you, because he's weak for vagina. If you're going through that Bible and you come up with oppressive to women, you weak for vagina. That means when you read the scriptures, you think about vagina. When Eve gave Adam that fruit, you thought to yourself, I would have ate it too. I would have ate it too. There is a way unto man which seemeth right, but in the end are the ways of death. I just heard a guy, he commented on Chad O's on the video about feminism last Sunday, and he basically talked about, I'm not going to listen to nobody that don't have no game, something about some game or something. Come to find out, this guy is married. I saw a video with him and his daughter. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Most of these men have had very, very bad experiences with women. And you know why? Because the women can see right through them. I can look at a man and tell when it's in him or when it's on him. Gatorade used to have a commercial, and they used to ask, is it in you? Gatorade stopped playing that commercial because it was building up too much character in people. It was making people question themselves. They don't want that. They want you to comply, not question yourself. Is it in you? Is a profound question. Is what you're seeking for out of life, is it in you? So Billy Carson, no conviction. He'll be one of the main ones. Talk about get the mark of the beast. I'm just telling you, no conviction. We have a scripture here. Thank you, McCoy, for the super sticker. We have a sticker from scripture from Kaia, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Look it up real quick. Second Corinthians. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. That is 2 Corinthians 5:17. And she put down true freedom. MKOK, thank you for the super sticker. But anyway, this new age religion doesn't deal with a person taking a stance. It deals with all this ambiguous stuff. All this gods of the universe, all this in the moment, your consciousness. It don't deal with taking a hard stand. Because the hard stance comes with a consequence. To go out there and put your life on the line, it comes with a consequence. Yeah, he another polite. Brother Polite. It's sad, but it's common.
This is item File item 18, AB 1078.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I would like to begin by stating that I will be accepting the committee's amendments and thank the committee for working with me on this measure. AB 1078 is a bill that intends to combat the national Christian white supremacist movement, which aims to ban books, school curriculum.
So now you see that white Christian. So all this talk about Christianity, again, the goal is to make Christianity synonymous with racism. So if Christianity is synonymous with racism, that means the Bible is also racist. Now you can see how they can, quote unquote, ban a book. They can ban a book if it infringes upon people's rights. And if the Bible is transphobic, homophobic, misogynist, and racist, then it can't be printed anymore. Now, how will black people and the black church reconcile with not having a Bible? I'll tell you, do what they always do, just make something up. This guy's name is Corey Jackson. Now you see his appearance and you can hear his orientation. So that lets you know that the people that are moving this whole liberal agenda forward, democratic agenda forward in the black community are going to be LGBTQPs. Don't forget X, Y, and Z community. Let's continue.
Curriculum, and even more in our schools. And this issue makes people uncomfortable. It's a tough discussion, and it's a tough issue. And a lot of it, I think, is due to the misunderstanding of what people mean when they say white Christian nationalist. And so I want to make sure that people understand really the definition to hopefully put more people at ease that if the shoe doesn't fit, then no one's talking about you. We're really talking about the radicalization of the Christian faith to, quite frankly, draw upon people's angers, economic angst, people's search for additional resources, and drawing upon people's biases to really achieve and use that anger to achieve a political objective. And unfortunately, that number one is happening internationally. This is not something unique to you.
So again, we have the globalization of blackness, but we also have the spreading of racist Christianity. And again, these people talk like this, but what are they really saying? What are they really saying? What are the quote unquote white? Now think about this now. Anybody can say they're a Christian or follow the Bible and believe in God. Anybody can say it, but their actions don't line up with it, then you wouldn't. They're not following the faith. It's funny to me that if I said tomorrow I'm gonna be a woman, I didn't change anything. I just said I'm a woman. Him and his group would say he's not being serious. He's not being authentic. He's not truly identifying as that. He's not following that kind of protocol. He's not acting like he's really a woman. So they would discredit me for not following what a person identifies as a woman would do. How is it that when they see people who are saying they're Christian but don't display Christian values, how are they then not saying the same thing? Why can't they distinguish between the fake Christian and the real Christian. They can distinguish between the fake trans and the real trans, but they can't distinguish between the fake Christian. You know why? Because the attack is against Christianity, period. They don't have to distinguish. It's against Christianity, period. They're just masking it with racism. But again, he said that this bill is aimed at white Christians.
United States, but has also made its way here to California. And the banning of books has been a blatant and in some cases a successful effort to whitewash the history that students are taught in all levels of public education. Even more concerning is the fact that this movement is also taking place here in this Golden State and even in my county of Riverside County. And we cannot allow the education of California's future leaders to have.
Now, you all know that if this Black history continues and Black history, now I told somebody this, I said, if I tell you a part of the truth, I'm not lying, but I'm deceiving you. What they've done with history is they've not told you all this history, but they've focused on this portion. Now, they didn't say the other part didn't exist. They just didn't bring it up. That's still deception. So again, Black history books, Black history as a course, Black history anything is propaganda. Why is it propaganda? Because they don't give you the whole story. If you only give me a fraction of the story or even half of the story, then it's propaganda. If they told the whole story about slavery, nobody would be offended.
Have holes and even falsehoods in our history and the lessons that we teach, especially when those gaps include the history of African Americans and other communities of color, the history of racism in America, and the very existence of the LGBTQ plus community.
I told you, anytime you see Black history, it is a Trojan horse for the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z community. I keep telling you all, a bad tree cannot bear good fruits. So if Black history is a tree that's been planted and it's only yielded bad fruit, what does that tell you about Black history? If they're telling you one portion of history that only focuses on Black people, that means they are deceiving you. And there's a reason why they're hiding all the other history. It is Satan's. It is Satan.
According to the American Library Association, they found that more than 1,200 challenges of more than 2,500 books nationwide, nearly double the record set the year before in 2021. Since we've been even tracking this data for the last 20 years. Those who cannot remember or even be able to learn the past are condemned to repeat it. And we cannot allow.
How has Black history helped Black people? How? Everybody is under this notion that if Black folks don't learn their history, they doomed to repeat it. And Black folks just told me they was gods of the universe. You mean to tell me you're a god of the universe, but you need white people to put a few paragraphs in a history book for you? This guy's name is something Jackson. This guy's name is Corey Jackson. Dr. Corey Jackson. We already know most black folks with a doctorate are communists. We know most black folks in higher education are communists. We know this. Most black folks in education, obviously, were communists. They're all communists. In his perfect world, your children would know. In his perfect world, your children would know about sex at 3 years old, and by 5, they'd be transitioning. Let's continue. So I really want to end on a bright note today and talk about this video here of this young lady who was selling donuts.
How are you? I don't have any money. You think possible maybe I could still get one donut?
Oh, yeah.
It's possible? Just one? Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. 1, 2.
Whatever you pick.
3.
Really? 3? No, you're sweet like chocolate. Why did you help me?
It's okay. Must help each other.
It's okay. Must help each other.
Yeah.
I have something for you. I want to give you $500 US.
No.
For you. For you. For you.
What for?
Because you're so nice, you helped me.
Mother and father are dead.
Your mom and father are dead?
Dead. Kerja seharian udah masih gak cukup bener. You best friend.
You're my best friend.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Free donut for the kids. Beautiful smile. Thank you. For you, sweetheart. You get a donut. You get a donut. She gets a donut.
So to me, this story is beautiful because this guy goes up to her and he said he doesn't have any money, but he wants a donut. And she said, "How many do you want?" And he said, "How many you want to give me?" She says 2, and she said, "No, I'll give you 3." Now, this is beautiful because what they're telling you is that this doesn't exist. They're telling you that racism is so powerful that this doesn't happen. That the rain doesn't fall on the just and the unjust. This is what they're saying. They're saying that everything is controlled on this earth and God doesn't have any say so. And I say that if you are really walking with God, how can you not be seen about by God? It's impossible. It's impossible.
Hello, how are you? I don't have any money. You think possible maybe I could still get one donut?
Oh, yeah.
It's possible? Just one? Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. 1, 2.
Whatever you pick.
3.
Really? 3? No, you're sweet like chocolate. Why did you help me?
It's okay. Must help each other.
It's okay. Must help each other.
Yeah.
I have something for you. I want to give you $500 US.
No.
For you. For you. For you.
What for?
Because you're so nice, you helped me.
Mother and father are dead.
So she said to her parents, he said she works all day and night to pay funeral bills and support her sick grandpa. So again, I don't know if it's real or not. The tears look real. Her reaction looked real to me. But again, my point is that they're telling you that your life circumstance is dependent on how you look. Your experience in life is going to be altered by the way you look. And I say that's BS. This woman is in the middle of nowhere, probably in the Philippines, somewhere impoverished, and she's got $500. I don't know how long that'll go in the Philippines, but I imagine it'll go a long way if she's selling donuts for a living. You know, but again, somebody mentioned a couple of years ago, they said there aren't any more human interest stories. And I was like, well, how can there be? It's too much propaganda. Like, you can't even, like, these people don't want you to even enjoy life. They want you to believe that if you go outside your house, something's going to happen to you because of the way you look. They tell you that God doesn't exist. And I reject that and I rebuke it. Everybody's saying it's staged. I don't know. Them tears look real to me also. I don't know. Them tears look real. But anyway, I don't know. Somebody asked, but again, the Bible mentions that we should be kind to everyone because we might be entertaining angels. And there is a lesson in this. And the lesson is that she was kind to this man. She didn't know who he was. And so that is a lesson for everybody. Yeah, Amy, I believe that the camera was hidden. I believe it's because she never looks at the camera. I believe it was hidden too. She looks at his eyes the whole time. So I believe it's real. I mean, when he showed her that money, her face, it looked real to me. I'm sorry. I wish I could talk to her, get on live one day. But somebody asked me, why are Black people afraid of swimming? Is it because of slavery? Let me see. I didn't even read these articles. I didn't want to read them. I would have been disgusted. Now let me go to this picture real quick. Here it goes. So y'all should be able to see it. In the picture, it has 4 white children. I think a child that appears to be either mixed or Hispanic, and then 1 Black girl, Magic. And let me get to the gist of this. It turns out nearly 60% of Black kids in the United States don't know how to swim. Black kids drown at over 3 times the rate of white kids. It's been commonplace for decades that Black parents don't teach their kids how to swim. But where did this puzzling? But where did this? Oh, shoot. Hold on one second, y'all. But where did this puzzling stereotype and behavior come from? In the late 1800s and into the 1930s, America went on a swimming pool building frenzy. Pools even popped up in poor immigrant neighborhoods, but few were allocated to the Black community. Adding to that, Jim Crow laws in the South forced racial segregation of pools and beaches. And in the North, in places like Pittsburgh, where they didn't have segregated pools, the police encouraged white swimmers to keep Black swimmers out of out by physically beating them. People would even throw cleaning supplies or acid in the pool while black children or families were swimming. In St. Louis in 1949, 200 white teenagers showed up with baseball bats to prevent black kids from swimming in their pool. They always tell you something, and then they have a story to back up what they're saying. That's CRT, where they'll tell you something that's crazy and they'll have one story to back it up as if it was commonplace. For the few pools serving black community, the facilities were typically underfunded and poorly built and unmaintained. There were attempts to protest racist swimming pool laws. At a famous swim in 1964, black people jumped into an all-white swimming pool at the Monson Motor Lodge in St. Augustine, Florida. The owner of the lodge responded by pouring acid in the pool, frightening the young girls and boys who participated. Still, it got the attention of the president, Lyndon Johnson. After segregation legally ended with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, while people didn't relent and still wouldn't, white people didn't relent and still wouldn't swim with black people because they viewed them as dirty. So in 1968, Strom Thurmond, who was running for president, commented, "There's not enough troops in the army to force the Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race into our theaters, into our swimming pools, and into our homes, and into our churches." Okay, anyway, so again, like I said before, black people don't swim because the water is unbiased. The water does not care about black people being black. All this propaganda is foolishness. Black people don't swim because the water is much like God. That's why. And black people have a poor relationship culturally with God. This is why black people are afraid of the water. You are afraid of things you don't know, or you are afraid of things you are in violation of. Either way, it's fear. And God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of a strong mind, but of power and one of love. So that's why black folks don't swim. They're afraid of being in the water and not having any faith. Right. Strom Thurmond was a good Democrat. Teach 'em Chuck said, "No pools, no vanilla ice cream." There was a video I shared with the group, and it said that, right, Sundaya, like black folks couldn't build their own swimming pools. Listen, the way these people tell history, you would think that black people were sitting there in cake. The irony, the way these folks paint history, you would think that black folk were the ones in the caves. It's crazy. I might have that video about the vanilla ice cream. I might have it. Let me check and see. Let me check and see. Do I have the vanilla ice cream video? I'll get it for next time. But it was a video. I don't think I say it, but it was a video, and they said that black people weren't allowed to eat vanilla ice cream only on the 4th of July. Black people were only allowed to eat vanilla ice cream only on the 4th of July. And this is how black people fell in love with butter. This is how black folks fell in love with the ice cream flavor butter pecan. I have the video for next time. Anyway, thank you, Khalil, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. You know what? Let me look it up now. Let me look on YouTube. Let me see if I can find it. The racist history of the ice cream truck. I don't see the vanilla ice cream one. Okay, I don't see it, you all, but I don't. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it, but I'll have it next time. I'm sorry, I'll have it next time. Thank you, Khalil, for the super sticker, but I'll have it for y'all next time. Vanilla ice cream, you couldn't eat it. But again, you all, if you believe this stuff, then something's wrong with you. That's all. Something's wrong with you. Yeah, they said the ice cream truck was racist. It was a history behind it. I'll talk about it. Okay, the new Black national anthem, the one that Jill Scott did. Let me know, pretty conservative. Let me know. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I will see y'all on maybe Friday or Saturday. Maybe Friday. I don't know, but I'll see y'all this either Friday or Saturday. Probably Saturday. But listen, I love you all. I thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all soon. Thank you.